If you're living on a fixed income, relying on Social Security or a pension, the last thing you need during the holidays is a surprise charge you didn't plan for. I know many of you are careful about every dollar, watching payment dates and stretching your budget to cover Medicare premiums, prescriptions, groceries, and the gifts you want to give your family. That's why the new wave of holiday return fees showing up at big stores matters. These aren't dramatic changes that make headlines. They hide in the fine print, and they tend to pop up at the worst moment, right when you're trying to return something that didn't fit or didn't arrive as expected. I want to walk you through what's changing, which stores are doing what, why this is happening, and most importantly, how you can avoid paying these fees and keep your holiday budget on track. I'll explain this step by step in plain English with simple examples so you can shop with confidence and not feel blindsided. Over the last few months, a lot of retailers quietly updated their return and shipping policies ahead of the holiday season. Not on the front page of their website, not in big, bold notices, usually buried under returns, service policy, or FAQ sections that almost no one reads until something goes wrong. If you've noticed shorter return windows, a charge added when you start a return online, or new wording like fee deducted from refund, you're seeing the result of these changes. And because the holidays are when people buy more, order multiple sizes, try things at home, and exchange gifts after the fact, small changes in return policies can turn into real dollars leaving your pocket. Let's be clear about what these new fees are. In many cases, the charge appears when you choose to mail back a return. It might be called a return shipping fee, a processing fee, or a label fee. A few years ago, this was rare. Now it's becoming normal. You order a sweater or a pair of slippers. They arrive and they don't fit. You go online to start the return, click the option to print a label, and the store tells you the return will cost $5, $7, $9.95, or a similar amount taken out of your refund. For one item, that may not feel huge, but during the holidays, when people make several purchases and sometimes need to send back more than one item, those charges can stack up faster than you expect, and they are generally not negotiable. If you choose mail-in, the fee is deducted. Right now, a number of well-known retailers are charging these mail return fees. For example, Abercrombie has a $7 fee for mail returns. American Eagle is charging around $5. JCPenney charges about $8 if you use their return label. Nordstrom Rack is at $9.95. Macy's, a place many families use for holiday shopping, has a $9.99 fee for returns by mail. The reason this catches people by surprise is that it wasn't part of the experience a few years ago, and the habit of buying online, especially multiple sizes or colors, became normal during the pandemic. Now, companies are tightening up. You'll still see free options, but they tend to be in-store or at specific drop-off partners. To understand why this is happening, it helps to know the bigger picture. Returns are expensive. According to national retail reports, returns cost U.S. retailers hundreds of billions of dollars each year. Every return requires sorting, shipping, repackaging, and sometimes discounting items that can no longer be sold as new. Online returns are the most expensive because they involve more shipping steps and a higher chance the item comes back worn, opened, or not in a condition to sell at full price. During the pandemic, stores made returns easier on purpose to encourage online shopping. That convenience taught customers to expect effortless returns forever. But many retailers took heavy losses from people ordering multiple sizes to try at home and sending most of the order back, or from fraud, like wearing an item once and returning it, or claiming a package never arrived. Instead of raising prices across the board, some companies are adding return fees during the heaviest return season of the year, December and early January, when the cost hits them the hardest. There's another change happening that can quietly cost you money. Return windows are getting shorter. Not long ago, many stores gave 60 or 90 days for returns. This year, more are cutting that to 30 days, and some count from the day the item ships, not the day it arrives at your door. A few retailers set a hard deadline in early January for any holiday return, no matter when you bought it. What does that mean for you? If you buy early to get a good price, or if the item arrives later than planned, you could run out of time to return it without even realizing it. Miss the window, and the fees don't just show up, they can become the least of your worries because the store may refuse the return or only offer store credit. For anyone tracking bill due dates and Medicare or insurance premiums, the timing of refunds matters. If you are counting on a refund to help with next month's expenses, a delayed or denied return can create real stress. Let's bring this down to real life. Imagine you buy 3 sweaters in different sizes for your grandson because you're not sure what will fit. You keep the one that works and plan to send the other 2 back by mail. If the store charges $7 per mailed return, that's $14 taken out of your refund instantly. Or say you order holiday decorations and the color looks completely different in person. You send it back and lose $9 or $10 to the return fee. A winter coat arrives after the cold snap you bought it for, or it fits oddly in the shoulders. Now, the mail-in return is almost $10 out of your refund on top of everything else. None of these are disasters by themselves. But stack 3 or 4 of them in 1 month, and suddenly you've spent $30 to $50 just on return labels. If you're on a fixed income, that's real money. Now, I want you to hear something hopeful. Not every retailer is moving in the same direction, and you still have ways to avoid these fees entirely if you know where to look and what buttons to click. Many stores still offer free in-person returns. That means if you bring the item back to a physical store location, you won't pay a mail fee. Amazon and Walmart stand out for keeping in-person options that help people avoid charges when used correctly. With Amazon, you can often choose a label-free, box-free drop-off at places like Kohl's, Whole Foods Market, or certain UPS locations. When you select the return option online, pay close attention. If you pick the label-free drop-off, you can usually get the return processed without paying anything. If you choose to print a label and ship it yourself, that's when fees tend to show up. Walmart continues to allow free returns in-store on most items and encourages people to bring online orders back to the store rather than mailing them. Those physical networks, Kohl's counters for Amazon, Walmart's own stores, help keep costs down, and if you use them, they can keep fees out of your holiday budget. Another quiet workaround exists at some retailers through free loyalty programs. For example, Macy's has offered free returns by mail for certain members of its Star Rewards program on many products. It costs nothing to sign up at the basic level. The rules can vary depending on your membership level and the item, so check your account and the return page before you purchase. The key idea is simple. A few minutes setting up a free account can save you $10 every time you need to return something by mail. That adds up quickly in December. One of the biggest traps this season is the shortened return window. The fix is more practical than glamorous. Check the return policy before you buy, especially for gifts. Click the Returns link, look for the number of days, and see when the countdown starts. If a store starts the clock at the shipping date instead of the delivery date, or sets a hard return by deadline in early January, that's important to know. If you're worried about cutting it close, consider buying from a store with an in-store return option near you, Or plan your purchase so you'll have time to try it and, if needed, take it back during a routine errand. Ask for and keep gift receipts because they often extend return rights for the recipient or allow returns without revealing the purchase price. Let me share a few practical habits that can protect your budget without making shopping feel like a chore. First, return in person whenever you can. In-store returns are still free at most big stores, and they often produce a faster refund. Second, always check whether the return is free if you choose exchange instead of refund. Some retailers charge for mailed refunds but waive fees if you're swapping sizes or colors. On Amazon, many clothing items qualify for free size exchanges if you use the exchange option rather than starting a new order. Third, keep the packaging, tags, and receipt for at least a couple of weeks. A lot of returns get denied because tags were removed or the item looks used. Keeping everything intact gives you the best chance of an easy, free return. Fourth, set a simple reminder on your calendar for 7 to 10 days after delivery. If you haven't decided by then, try the item on again. If it's not right, start the return while you're still inside the window. The earlier you act, the more options you'll have. I know not everyone is comfortable with online forms or scanning barcodes. If you're not tech-savvy, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with walking into the store with your receipt and asking customer service, "What's the easiest way to return this without paying a fee?" You can also call the store's customer service line before you start the process online. Ask them to walk you through choosing the in-person return option. If your adult children or grandkids shop online, ask them to help select the fee-free drop-off when they order gifts for you. A 5-minute conversation can prevent a $10 mistake. There are also a few rights and protections that are worth knowing because sometimes what's fair comes down to what was disclosed to you. Many states require stores to post their return and refund policies clearly. If a fee or a short window wasn't disclosed at the time of purchase, you can politely point that out and ask the store to honor a return without the fee. Keep your receipt and take a quick photo or screenshot of the return policy page when you buy, especially if it says free returns or lists a longer window. If the reality doesn't match what you were told, that documentation helps your case. Laws vary by state, and I'm not here to give legal advice, but in general, stores have to be clear with you, and you have the right to ask questions and hold them to their own terms. If shipping is late, there's another protection that can matter during the holidays. Federal rules require that when you buy something by mail, internet, or phone, the seller must ship by the time they promise. If no time is stated, they must ship within a reasonable period, often interpreted as 30 days. If the store can't meet the promised time frame, you should be offered a choice to cancel for a full refund. If a package shows up weeks late and that lateness makes the return window expire, contact customer service and clearly explain the situation. Ask for an exception or a prepaid label, especially if the delivery delay was their fault. Keep your order confirmation and delivery tracking as proof. It also helps to consider how you pay. If you use a credit card and a store charges you a return fee that wasn't disclosed or refuses a return that should be allowed under its written policy, you can dispute the charge with your card issuer. Save the policy screenshots and your correspondence. If you paid with a debit card, the protections can be thinner and refunds can take longer, so plan for a little extra time. If you used a buy now, pay later plan, keep in mind that those refunds can take longer to process and may affect your payment schedule. You don't want a missed installment fee sneaking up on you. And if you use EBT for eligible food items, remember that stores generally must return the value back to your EBT card, not cash. Keep your receipt and ask the store to follow the proper process. That way, your benefits stay where they belong. Another thing that trips people up is shipping labels that quietly expire. If you start a return and the system gives you a deadline to drop off the package, don't let that slip past you. Once the label expires, the system may charge you a new fee or refuse the return entirely. If you're returning multiple items to the same store, wait until you have them all ready and make one trip. Don't make it complicated. Choose a day you're already going out for groceries or a doctor's appointment and add a quick stop to drop off returns at Kohl's, UPS, or the store itself. The less back and forth, the fewer mistakes and the fewer fees. There's value in picking stores with policies that fit your needs. If you know you tend to return clothing more than other items, try to buy clothing from retailers that offer free in-person returns near you or simple drop-off options. If you're shopping for electronics or appliances, watch for separate restocking fees. These are different from return shipping fees and can be a percentage of the item's price if it's been opened. Those fees must be disclosed, so read the product page carefully and keep the packaging untouched until you're sure. For gifts, consider asking your family what store is easiest for them to return to if something doesn't work out. A gift receipt from a store near them can save a lot of back and forth. Let's circle back to Macy's, Amazon, and Walmart, since they play a big role in many families' holiday shopping. With Macy's, check whether joining their rewards program at no cost can waive the mail-in fee for your specific purchase. The store's policy can vary by item and member level, so look for the Returns link on the product page and double-check your account benefits before you pay. With Amazon, slow down during the return process and look for the option that says Label-Free, Box-Free, Drop-Off. If that's available, select it and pick a nearby location. You hand the item to the counter, show the QR code on your phone or a printout, and you're done. No printing, no tape, no fee. With Walmart, returns in-store remain straightforward on most items, and that in-person route avoids potential mail charges and speeds up refunds. Don't forget the timing of refunds themselves. Even when a return is free, refunds can take several business days to show up on your card. If you're budgeting around the arrival of a Social Security payment or you have utilities or insurance premiums due soon, don't rely on a refund landing instantly to cover a bill. Build in a little cushion. Aim to start the return within a day or two of deciding and assume it may take a week to hit your account. Planning for the delay prevents anxiety and late fees. There's also a temptation to buy multiple sizes of everything and sort it out later, especially with holiday deals running constantly. I suggest a small adjustment. Before ordering 3 sizes, read the product reviews for comments on fit, especially from folks who share your height, weight, or body type. Many product pages show a size guide. You can reduce the odds of returns by getting the closest match the first time. The fewer things you need to send back, the less chance you'll run into fees or deadlines at all. If you feel nervous about being trapped by fine print, remember that asking questions up front protects you. If you're in a store, ask at the register, "If I need to return this, is there a fee, and how many days do I have?" If the item is a gift, ask for a gift receipt and whether the recipient can return in-store without a charge. If you're shopping online, scroll to the return policy and read the specific page for that item. Take a screenshot before you click Buy. That 1 minute of checking can save you money and stress later. Sometimes you'll run into a situation where the store policy changed after you bought the item, or the practice doesn't match what you were told. Stay calm and polite and ask for a supervisor. Explain what you saw when you bought it and show your screenshot. Most stores will work with you, especially if the confusion came from unclear wording or a recent change. If they won't, and it's a significant amount, consider a credit card dispute with your documentation. You're not being difficult, you're protecting your budget and asking the store to honor the terms you agreed to. Now let's talk about one more common question. Are these fees fair, or should stores absorb the cost? Reasonable people disagree. What matters for you is control. You can't control corporate policy, but you can control how you shop and return. Use in-person returns where available. Pick the right return method online. Watch the window. Leverage free loyalty programs that waive fees. Keep the tags and packaging for a couple of weeks. Schedule one trip to drop off everything. And don't count on instant refunds to pay immediate bills. Those habits keep these changes from reaching into your pocket. Before we wrap up, here's a simple way to bring this together. Imagine your December shopping as a small plan on paper. You list the 2 or 3 places you usually buy from. Under each, write down where you can return for free: store counter, Kohl's, Whole Foods, UPS. Next to that, jot down the return window in days. Then, add a reminder on your calendar for a week after each delivery to decide to keep or return. If something doesn't work out, you take it with you on your next errand and drop it off at the free option. You keep gift receipts in an envelope near the front door. You join the store's free rewards program before you buy. You don't need fancy apps. Just a few notes and a reminder, and the fees that surprise other shoppers won't surprise you. Let me summarize the key message. This season, more stores are charging fees for returns by mail, often around $5 to $10. Some have shortened return windows, sometimes starting at the shipping date, and a few set early January deadlines for holiday returns. These changes aren't usually announced loudly, so it's easy to miss them. But you have options. Return in person whenever possible to avoid fees. If you shop on Amazon, choose label-free, box-free drop-off. If you buy at Walmart, bring online purchases back to the store. At Macy's and other retailers, check whether joining a free rewards program waives mail-in fees for your items. Read the return policy before buying, and keep tags, packaging, and gift receipts. Set a quick calendar reminder to decide on returns well inside the window. If you see a policy that wasn't disclosed, speak up and politely ask the store to honor what was advertised. If shipping is late, ask for an exception or a cancellation and refund. Document what you were told and consider a credit card dispute if necessary. And most of all, plan for refund timing so you're not counting on that money to cover a bill due in a couple of days. You have the right to clear, honest information about fees and return rules. You have the right to ask questions and to expect stores to follow their own policies. You aren't being a bother by protecting your budget. You're doing what any careful person does, making sure the rules are clear so you don't pay more than you should. With a few simple steps, you can shop confidently, avoid surprise charges, and keep your holiday spending under control. That way, your Social Security check or pension stretches the way you planned, and you can enjoy the season without worrying that a return label will nibble away at your savings. If this was helpful, share it with a friend or family member who does most of the holiday shopping. The people who buy the most are the ones who can save the most by using fee-free returns and watching the return window. If you have a specific question or a situation that feels confusing, write it down and bring it to the customer service desk before you start a return. A calm, simple question can prevent a costly mistake. As always, this is general information to help you understand the current landscape. Store policies change often, and rules can vary by item, membership level, or state law. Before making a purchase or starting a return, check the retailer's current policy on their website or ask in the store. This is not legal advice. If you run into a serious dispute, consider contacting your state consumer protection office or your credit card issuer for guidance. My goal is to help you feel informed, prepared, and protected so you can keep more of your money where it belongs, supporting you and your family.